It's Monday, July 17th, and I read this yesterday and it's worth repeating. So Donald Trump's aide said to him one morning, "Sir, I had a dream you had a parade. It was miles long and winding through Washington, D.C. And many joyful Americans lined the roofs, literally in the millions. People were laughing, cheering, playing in the street, and you were riding in the most beautiful carriage." And Trump turns to him and says, "Was I happy?" And the aide said, "I don't know, sir. The casket was closed." So this little joke reminded me that Donald Trump is a real person and a real danger to this country. And right now he is leading the potential Republican presidential candidates by a significant margin, not only in popularity, but in the evil of campaign funding. I have always considered campaign funding one of the worst situations in this country. The amount of money that is spent on campaigns is ridiculous. The amount of time that is spent on campaigns is ridiculous. Campaign funding is one of the deadliest diseases that exists in the United States. Let me give you some examples of what's going on with Trump here. He's already raised over $35 million in his various fundraising efforts in the second quarter of the year, and he's transferred about half of that money to the campaign itself right now. So he's set. He has no problems. But when you look at some of these other guys, like DeSantis and Christie and Pence, their stories are much different. This information that I'm about to give you comes from the campaign funding finance reports, the detailed filings that took place from April 1st to June 30th. So Ron DeSantis raised $19.7 million for his campaign, and $16.9 million came from contributions over $200. That is a sign that he's in a particular universe, but it's not a broad universe. He's not getting a lot of small donations from people who vote. People who vote are more important in some way than those who are giving him money. So he's spending money fast, but he's not really gaining in the view of the people who watch these findings, right? He's not gaining enough popularity to really be in the running for this job that he's after. And he's spending cash like crazy. Spent nearly $8 million in 6 weeks, right? And his top expenditures seem to be on himself and other things. $1.3 million for travel, private jets, $1 million more for payroll, so he's paying a lot of people to work for him, right? And more than $800,000 pissed away for fundraising, consulting, and media placement and things like that. So he gives me a big picture of what most of these candidates are doing. They all have the same way of doing business. And raising money is critical. And spending it wisely is also critical. So DeSantis is leading the pack in terms of burn rate, spending. Now Tim Scott of South Carolina, he's had $5.9 million that he raised, but he spent $6.7 million. But he had a cushion because he carried over $22 million from his Senate campaign into his presidential campaign. So he's doing okay, but he has not really raised much money. So if you look at his picture and you look at the contributions he's getting, his base is rather small right now. So both of those gentlemen have a lot of money, supposedly, but the question is that money coming from enough different people to consider them a threat? Now, if we look at Nikki Haley, her campaign took in $5.3 million, and she only spent $2.6 million in her campaign. And he reported that she had $6.8 million cash on hand. So that means she's in a comfortable position, but it doesn't indicate that she has a huge group of voters on her side. But if she's getting very small contributions, in the $10, $20 range, then she's got enough people there to be a candidate. So the guy that's not doing very well is Pence. He has raised a paltry $1.2 million in contributions. And that raises a lot of questions about whether he can draw a meaningful backing in the Republican arena. He has spent just $74,000 in this time frame on his campaign. And we don't even know if he's going to be allowed on the debate stage because his campaign has not reached the threshold of 40,000 unique donors. That's one of the major requirements to appear on the Republican debate stage on August 23rd. So Pence is in bad shape, and so is Asa Hutchinson. He's another guy. He's only raised about $500,000, and the Texas congressman, Will Hurd, has raised $270,000. So these guys are non-factors based upon the rules that were set up to let them get on the campaign stage to begin with. Now, Chris Christie raised about $1.6 million, but over a third of his campaign funds came from small donors. So that indicates that he has a base. He has a base and he has appeal to people. So he may get in the race, he may meet the qualifications of the 40,000 donors, etc. But I don't know that he'll really be a big factor unless he really shines in the debates. I heard him the other day and he spoke pretty well. And he could appeal. He could appeal to people. And then you have the self-funding candidates who are also burning through cash. One of them, the governor, Doug Burgum of North Dakota, who's a wealthy software engineer, he raised about only $1.5 million in contribution, and he lent $10 million to his campaign, and he spent $8 million of that money on his campaign for advertising. And the billionaire Vivek Ramaswamy reported $2.3 million in contributions, as well as $5 million that he contributed himself, and then he also lent the campaign $15.25 million. And he has said he's willing to spend up to $100 million on this campaign. And we don't even know if he's close to getting on the debate stage. So that's the story. That's the picture of what's going on with the Republican debate that's upcoming. Have a great day.